Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, piloting to the universe of Chinese. Let's continue exploring contemporary Chinese expressions, which means that Chinese, the language, is still evolving, still have the ability to formulate new ideas with existing elements. So it's almost like a Chinese metabolism. And now we're showing you the newly created, newly minted expressions. And it starts from NetSpeak because it's our times feature when right after the printing technology, and then we have book circulation, and now we have internet. So everybody, majority of the population on planet Earth and in this language, Chinese language in particular, that more and more people are getting access to internet, to the language, and more language expressions are created. Now, language used to be only those who are literate, who are close to power, who were able to control how you frame things, how you think about things with their use of language. Now, language got more democratized. More people get access to language. So such expressions oftentimes emerge from NetSpeak. People, ordinary people in their everyday life, they come up with new expressions. And that shared human experience turned to expressions that commonly accepted as a good way to describe how we're experiencing it or how we're feeling it. So 人间不拆 is one such newest creations. And because NetSpeak, I guess, it's not a kind of a formal publication. So it's hard to trace back, like on which journal, under which issue or installment, or exactly which publication that who so-and-so first started to use this expression. It's harder to track down onto the exact creators of this expression. But as more and more people get used to this in their expressions, this carry on to its life as its own. And so for me, as a Chinese speaker, user, and because I live out of China, so oftentimes the new expressions, the latest, I have to check like what's the new expressions this year. It's not like naturally, automatically come to me. It's a learning process for me as well to keep up with the newest expressions. So 人间不拆, okay, you see on the top, the white color one, simplified Chinese, and the middle is traditional Chinese. Just by population is, of course, simplified Chinese got more users because they're from mainland China, like me, I'm one of those. But traditional Chinese, they probably are more influential overseas because they are more connected to the international world by immigration or by like cultural exchange, especially during the times when China was closed off to the outside world. During the Cold War era, right? So traditional Chinese probably outside China were more popular. So it's hard to say which language have more vitality, but I guess 人间不拆, this particular expression probably created by mainlanders. And this is, you can be regarded as a complete sentence, but Chinese have the unique way. It's almost like initials in English expressions, right? Things like, I don't know, WTO, World Trade Organization, 3 words, but boiled down to 3 letters, right? Chinese do the same. 人间不拆, the full sentence would be 人生不易 or 人生艰难. Okay, 人间 means the life is hard, life tough, right? Basically like that, tough life. And 不拆 means you as a language user or as somebody who is online who has the verbal power to attack people. 不拆 拆, don't troll people. And I guess this is a social media age of reaction to oftentimes unkind world or unkind expressions that people use online, trolling other people. So this is an advice in general. Like life is hard for everyone. Life is tough, so you don't spend your time trolling other people to make the life harder for other people. That's the gist. And we just use this 人艰不拆, which falls into the 4 Chinese character set expression custom. Oftentimes, the classical Chinese expressions often comes in 4, something of the 4 that Chinese are so enchanted with, and we kind of insist on, express our world views, our opinions, even the whole story in just 4 Chinese characters. Chinese have that amazing ability to abstraction, to succinction, and 人艰不拆, chai is the latest. Okay, 人, you can see this almost English letter R looking thing. Took me some time to figure out. Chinese 人, this human, originally means human, but in this case, 人 means 人生, human lifespan, or the whole human life's journey or life experience. We skip the later half because the context of it is we're talking about how tough life is. We're not talking about how tough individual humans are. But this word, 人, means human. And if you see simplified, even traditional, it looks like 2 legs standing being. We are those, it's called bipeds, right? We're standing on 2 legs instead of 4. But when you go back to history, 2,000 years ago, rendering is not a symmetrical view of 2 legs standing being, but it's an English R, letter R looking thing. That is the profile view of humans facing the left. The front, straighter side is the front body. And then this R, this curvature, is our back chain of the body, which got more curves. So Chinese differentiate front and back side of the body with these 2 strokes. And leftward facing is a Chinese cultural orientation. Because in English, we just by default, or not default, all the customs, formations, traditions, rules, or assumptions, unsaid assumptions, coordinate system, all that were somebody created, and the rest of the humans sign on to the same views, right? So English, at some point, formed the right side, means increasing in number, in time. So the coordinate system is the right side is positive, left side is negative, right? Chinese is a flip. The left side is the forward facing side. So, okay, human. As I said, it's 人生, the life got skipped. And just by talking about 人, it's kind of the initials in English. We have that means life, even if originally it means human. So it's human life. 艰, it's a little bit more complicated. It's yellow color soil symbol. Soil symbol I talked about many times, 2 horizontal lines connected by 1 vertical line. That vertical line is the plant, and the first horizontal line is the ground level. Second horizontal line is the indicator, kind of arrow pointing equivalent. That means the root, surrounding the root of the plant, which is soil. Okay, and the top we have 20, which is number 10. Cross is Chinese number 10. That's Chinese roping technique back then as a permanent record keeping. We tie a knot on the rope, that's number 10. And 2 tenths, that's 20. And I guess 20 was the ancient big number. It's kind of like today's gigabyte or whatever big size in our digital age. But ancient time, 20 was a big number. And then we have the farm field. It's kind of a simplified farm field, the oval shaped thing. And then we have a fire symbol. So farm field on fire, 20 of them. It means massive land mass that's kind of looking on fire. And that's a Chinese color yellow because this fiery farm field probably was kind of like a super bloom season when the plants on Earth, on the surface of Earth, looks like massive. And they are all kind of fire color. So it's yellow color. Yellow on top of soil, yellow soil is kind of a clay soil, which was not the ideal soil quality for farming. And for Chinese agrarian society, soil quality is supremely important. So here we have yellow soil or clay soil. The right side, gen, pronounce as again, that we don't use that much often. And it's made of eyeball, this oval shape with two horizontal lines, a Chinese abstraction of eyeball. And then we have the human figure, kind of simplified human figure facing toward the right. And once we know that Chinese is leftward facing, the rightward facing, it's not a mistake, it's intentional. When the figure is facing toward the right side, which is not the default orienting side, that means it's facing backward. It's not moving forward. So the whole thing, eyeball, but backward facing means you realize something is tough. You're refusing to go ahead. You stopped right there. So stop at the clay soil means life is hard. When you see the soil you have access to is actually clay soil, you probably would like think about like stop at it, looking at this hard problem you're going to face. So Chinese use this unfriendly and like agriculturally unfriendly type of soil situation. We use the whole thing to mean tough. Okay, tough life in ancient times means tough farming life. Okay, 不拆, this 不 concept came from the top line is heaven or our external condition. So anything beyond our control. Then we have this pointer, say point down. So it's almost like external force, kind of depressingly shooting down at us, almost like an arrow from heaven, something like that, right? It's not a cubic arrow. It's not something good happening to you. And then you have this opposite direction arch going against it. That means you are saying no to it. You're resisting it. So this form the concept no means you don't accept what naturally available or conditioned as you. You are going to use your own agency to say no to the original external environmental factors. You're going to fight against it, say no to that. So that's a Chinese no. And this chai is made of the hand symbol. In simplified Chinese and traditional, it should be this one, but the 2,000 years ago seal script language dictionary doesn't include it. So I kind of have to crop it from somewhere else and show you, okay, this should be this symbol here. That's 5-finger hand symbol. Chinese use 5-finger hand symbol when it's a special occasion to mean it's some action taken by the hand. And the right here is a half shelter. So half public, half private space with a chimney on top. So chimney on top simply shows that this is some human quarters. It's not somewhere in nature. And altogether, okay, altogether, it means demolish, means you're destroying something, you're dismantling something. And that's a hand motion. But this half public, half private shelter is seated on top of this ni character, which in contemporary Chinese written form is completely different. But here, and the no concept does not. It's having very much a similarity. this forcing this needle pointing down thing, and also this resisting. So instead of arch differently, it's having the same type of arch or arc, this cave shape. And then we have one horizontal line. So this horizontal line probably, in this case, is heaven, right? External factor. Over here, this horizontal line, because it's situated below this downward pressure, so it's almost like the boundary between you and this external factor. So this factor is trying to puncturing through your protected shell, and you're fighting against it. So this knee, just like boo, is another expression to say you're resisting on something. And when you're resisting on something of that half shelter place paired with the ham symbol, that means you're destroying something. You're picking something apart by hand. Ancient times doesn't have those machineries that you can knock something down, right? Demolish as our contemporaries practice. But the concept of you're destroying something is the same. So this destroying have this resisting concept in it, and is paired with this half human shelter space. And you are using your hand to probably destroy that space. And I'm not sure like if that space actually symbolize some traditions or institutions or temples even that you're going to hand knock things down, that kind of thing. But in today's case, in today's social media context, it means troll, means you're picking apart somebody's argument or point of view by trolling them. So 人间不拆 simply is advice to be kind to people online. And I guess I'm showing this old lady's face to show that through life, humans endure a lot. And that carved face, well-timed carved face, is a demonstration of how tough life is. And so as a general advice, you as a netizen, that you want to be kind to each other, because that can happen to you too. And you can relate to this life is hard part. That's universal. Everybody facing life is hard. And therefore, check your own behavior. Don't troll people. Be kind. Thank you for your time. See you another day.